Good evening. I hope and pray everyone is doing well on this midweek opportunity of a study. Johnny asked me to go ahead and do it for him. He had something come up. I'm not sure what it was, but it wasn't a good day for me. I was teaching late last night online, and then I ended up early this morning to teach online. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare a lesson. I also went to the eye doctor today, and they dilated my eyes, and it's still having an effect on me, but I'll make it through. So please forgive me if I don't sound too good or sure of myself. I'm wearing my orange shirt today in honor of Joe Crabtree and Nell and Dallas and Josh Wells. Anybody else there who's a Tennessee fan? I decided to wear my orange shirt. This is my everyday work shirt that I wear when I teach. So this is the color they want me to wear. So they have something for orange also. We want to maintain our prayers and keep our prayers for everybody in our congregation. There are quite a few people who are still unable to come to worship. They're still kind of very hesitant about coming out. I think it's because of the doctor's orders, because they have some kind of a secondary health issue and they don't want to get sick, so we want to keep them in our prayers. We also want to remember Crystal Amercani and Brenda Hall. Both are fighting cancer, okay, and they're in different situations right now and different treatments, but we want to remember to keep both of those fine Christian women in our prayers. We want to remember Clarence Deloche. Clarence is still in the hospital. I don't know if he's improved or he's maintained. I have no idea what's going on with him, but I do know this. He's one of the finest people I've ever met, and he does need our prayers, and I believe that God has him one way or the other. I just know that we need more Clarence Deloches in this world, especially at a time like we're in right now. So please keep Clarence in your prayers. And I just pray that God has more years for Clarence to live on this earth, because we need more men like that for sure. Remember Barbara Ramsey, Faye Hickey, and Carolyn Ward. I know that there are others that I am forgetting. But please keep praying for those individual people. Pray for our nation. Pray for our nation's leaders. There's so many things that are going on right now, and we all could use more prayers. This evening, the lesson that I'm going to present is a lesson that I put on YouTube several months ago. And I kind of tweaked it a little bit, but it's basically the same lesson. So if you've already seen this lesson, for those who, not on YouTube, I should say Facebook Live, okay? So I put it on Facebook Live, and it was on there, I think, way back in March. So it's the same story, but I've added a few things and kind of tweaked it a little bit. And the theme of this lesson is going the distance. Going the distance. In the Academy Award-winning movie Rocky, Sylvester Stallone plays the character of Rocky Balboa. And Rocky is an average boxer. He's an average fighter. He's nothing special. And when the heavyweight boxing champion of the world, in the movie his name is Apollo Creed, randomly selects Rocky to fight him. And it's almost kind of like he's picking this guy because he knows he's going to win, and it's like a warm-up fight, and he wants to make a big spectacle of it. So Apollo Creed randomly picks Rocky Balboa, and Apollo looks at it as an easy victory and a means in which to make some easy money. And it's almost like a David versus Goliath kind of a story. And Apollo, looking like he can identify, he's trying to present himself as that I can identify with the average Joe. This Rocky Balboa is an average person. Nobody knows who he is. He's an absolute nobody. And I can reach down and even fight nobody sometimes. And I can understand the feelings of such people. So here's Apollo Creed giving Rocky Balboa a chance that he would never have in his entire life, a chance that he would never get because he really doesn't deserve the chance. He never fought very well. And so he picks him. And so Rocky, through the movie, they go through this whole thing where he does all this unusual training. He's in the meat locker pounding on sides of beef and breaking their ribs and stuff. If you've seen the movie, you know the part I'm talking about. He's drinking all these eggs for protein, raw eggs, and he goes through this regimen. He's running in the mornings, and he goes through all these different things. As I look at that movie, how Rocky Balboa is preparing for this fight. Now here's the thing. Rocky isn't even looking at winning the fight. Now you may think, hey, he wants to win. Well, Rocky's whole goal is to finish the fight. Don't let the champion knock me out. Don't let the champion hurt me and put me down so I can't get back up. Rocky wants to go the distance. When I was a kid, I can remember a fight. I was watching with my dad, a boxing match, and that was way back in the day when the boxing matches went 15 rounds. And there was one of the fighters, his name was Danny Little Red Lopez. He was from California. And I can remember these two guys were fighting. I don't remember who he was fighting, but I remember this. By the time that fight got over, these guys were out there. They were bloodied. They were beaten. Both guys had just beat the snot out of each other, and they could barely stand up. And they could barely swing their arms at the end. But they both finished the fight. I don't remember who won, but I was thinking, wow, that's just amazing that these two guys, I kept thinking, one's going to win, one has to win, one's going to get lucky and win, and that's not what happened as far as the knockout went. So Rocky, when the fight begins, he gets out there and he gets knocked down several times by Apollo. And Apollo absolutely beats him down and knocks him down over and over and over again. But each time Rocky gets up. And at one point in the fight, and I believe it was in the middle of the rounds, Rocky hits an uppercut on Apollo and he breaks his rib. And so Apollo is in trouble because he can't breathe, but he has punished Rocky in the fight. And there's at one point in the fight where Rocky's eyes all swelled up. He can't see anything out of it. And he tells his trainer, his name is Mick, he says, Mick, cut my eye. And he goes, what? His eyes all swelled up. So in the movie, Mick takes a little razor and he cuts his eye. You see all this blood gush out. And all this pressure's relieved, and now Rocky can see again. Now, why did he do that? Because he knew he wouldn't go the distance unless he could see. So he told Mick to cut his eye. And so the blood gushes out, and in the end, Rocky will finish the fight. And when the fight's over, the two men come together in the middle of the ring, and Apollo Creed tells Rocky, there ain't going to be no rematch. And Rocky says, don't want one. And then he starts yelling for his girlfriend. It would be his wife. And he doesn't care if he won or lost the fight. Rocky was satisfied that he had gone the distance. And the lesson tonight is just about that. It's about going the distance in our lives as Christians. In the world right now, there is just so much negativity. There is so much uncertainty. And again, I have told those who would listen to me over and over again, I'm kind of a political junkie. I like watching, politics on various different channels on the news. But right about now, things are so negative in our country that it's really hard to watch. We have a 24/7 news cycle. It never comes off the air. And when you see these negative things happening over and over and over again, it just becomes hard. It becomes frustrating to understand why this is happening, to understand what is going on. And it affects me as a person. I don't know if it affects you, but it affects me. I know sometimes I watch these political channels and the media will come in the room and say, can we turn this off? Can we turn something else on? So, oh, okay. And she'll turn the regular news on. And the regular news isn't much better. We're living in negative times, and it's nothing new. We've been living in negative times, and anything you can see on TV for the most part has become negative. Now, going the distance. There's a man in the Bible, his name is the Apostle Paul, who we could kind of compare to Rocky Balboa. First of all, the Apostle Paul persecuted the church. He persecuted Christians. He watched people being put to death. And then, when he becomes a Christian, there's a few things that Paul has to do. One thing that Paul has to do is become baptized and become a Christian, but now he's going to go out and he's going to preach. And not only is he going to preach and teach, but he's going to be around the same people he had persecuted. It put him in a very awkward situation. But the life that he lived gave the people around him belief that he had changed. And that's important. Paul would be beaten, he would be stoned, he would be shipwrecked. I mean, it was one thing after another, put in prison, put on trial. His life seemed like a series of knockdowns, one after another. And yet each time, Paul would get up and he would continue living his life for Christ. That example that he has left us is, I think, what the message is I have, is that tonight we've got to remember that Christ is on our side. That we have so many more positives in our life than negatives. Sometimes all we need to do is just turn the television off. Stop watching all these bad things take place. All this negativity. That's one step we can do. The other thing that we probably need to do, and we all should be doing, is to be much more positive. To be much more loving. To be much more kind. To show people that there's a difference in their life. That all this negativity around us isn't going to get me as a Christian down. And if I get knocked down, when I say knocked down, I mean I feel like things aren't going the way they should. Our country's crazy. The world is crazy. What is going on? And this negativity can seep into our lives. And I don't know how you're affected by this whole coronavirus. I know that it's affected often congregations throughout the country. You know, in California, they're basically, about a week ago, the governor of California said, if you're going to go to a worship service, you can't sing. No singing. I just thought how ludicrous that is. That is just, it's crazy. How can you go to worship and not sing? And being the rebel that I am, I kind of sent some message out to people, said, you know what I would do if I were in California? I would have a singing service. A singing service where all they do is sing. Because I'm not going to stop singing to the Lord. Any way, shape, or form. And again, as long as they're keeping standards like we are doing, wearing masks, keeping our distance, doing those kind of things, we should not stop from honoring and worshiping God as we know that we should do. In Philippians chapter 31, verse 24, it says, be of good courage. strengthen me, so that the message might be preached fully through me, and that all the Gentiles might hear. Also I was delivered out of the mouth of the lion. And the Lord will deliver me from every evil work, and preserve me for his heavenly kingdom. To him be glory forever and ever. Amen. So all the things in life, and if you look not just at Paul, but so many other people, men and women in the Bible, who went through all kinds of things, they went through some crazy stuff. Don't think this is the first time in history things like this are taking place. Is really wrong. It might be the first time in our lifetimes that such things are taking place all at once. Being hit by a tornado, coronavirus, COVID-19, rioting, protesting, just incredible things taking place, and none of them good. All of them speak of negativity. And the reality is that just like Rocky Balboa got knocked down over and over and over again, and at one point during the fight in the movie, Apollo Creed just stands there and goes, he looks like, I can't believe he's getting up again. What does this guy have? What fortitude? Why does he keep getting up? I pummeled him. I punished him. I knocked him down. So if we look at Apollo Creed as being Satan. Satan coming after us as individuals. Satan coming after the church, the Lord's church. We are the Lord's church. Satan coming after our nation. Satan coming after different groups of people in our country. As he knocks us down, what are we going to do? Are we going to stay down? Or are we going to get back up and say, not today, Satan. God is with me. I've been through some tough things, but God is with me. I have cancer, but God is with me. I see my little ones going through different things, but God is with me. I see my wife, my husband, my children, my grandchildren, my family go through things. God is with us. I see our nation going through terrible times. God is with us. Don't ever, ever forget that. Let me read some verses here and I'll finish. Philippians chapter 4. Now, I first originally just read 8, 9. I'm going to read 6 through 9. This is a powerful scripture. Okay, here's what it says. Be anxious for nothing, but every day by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. It is time for us to be thankful for what we have. It is time to be thankful that God is with us. It is time that we be thankful that we know that we can put our trust in Him. It says everything in prayer. Have you been praying for over these days? Because if you haven't, you should be. We all should be praying more. Be praying for not only for good to happen, but be praying for those who are doing bad. Praying for those who are doing evil. Praying for those who are destroying. Praying for those who are burning, robbing, killing, murdering. Praying for a president, whether you like him or not. You need to pray for our leadership. And sometimes when you see someone who's in authority and they're not doing the things that you think they should be doing, you just want to protest at TV and say, oh, and other people want to defend no matter what. And the bottom line is pray. Pray for our nation. Pray that our nation would turn back to God. And one way they might turn back to God is if they see God being exhibited in your life. So how do we deal with that? Let me continue on. Let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts. Maybe I need that right now. I need God helping me, guarding me against exhort you that there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. As you turn the TV on, if you are disappointed, unhappy, shocked, and stunned, or however you feel about these things, if they're getting you down, it is time to change your mindset. Focus on the things that are good. Focus on the things of God. It is no time like the present to open up God's Word. We have a lot of bad news. Read the Gospels. Gospel means good news. shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. I look at those words in Isaiah. I needed that today. I feel worn down. I feel tired. I don't want to see these negative things. I wish it would just come to an end. But who knows when it will end? So as I feel weary and tired because of all the negative around us, there's the coronavirus. I was supposed to go see my mom in California in a couple of weeks. And as of right now, I think I'm going to have to cancel the trip. California is closed down because of the COVID-19. And I don't know how she's going to react. I find it sad. I find it a little bit maddening. And I find it bringing me down that I won't be able to see my mom for her birthday. Unless things change quickly. And again, I've got to put my faith and my trust and my hope in the Lord. That when eventually I do get back to California and say hello to my mom and dad in person, it'll be the right time. And things will be good when I do so. Let me move on and I'll close. The ultimate go the distance scripture for me. 2 Timothy 4:7. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. I started with Rocky Balboa in the movie. Boxing, getting knocked down, getting a beat down. He's exhausted and tired. By the time the movie comes to an end, the fight is over. Both men can hardly stand up. And sometimes as a Christian, don't you feel that way? I'm exhausted. I have so many responsibilities. I have a job. I have children. I have grandchildren. I have a spouse. I have family. I have the Lord. I have all these responsibilities. And then I have to fight against a disease. Maybe I have to fight also against a tornado. I've got to fight against so much. And then I see my nation being torn apart. I can learn on this. Fight the good fight. Go the distance. Don't give up. That's the message for tonight. And I hope and pray that you will take that to heart. That when life knocks you down, are you willing to get back up? Are you willing to keep fighting that spiritual fight? The devil is going to try to wear you out. He will try to get you to lose hope. Satan wants